All right, ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome back to another episode of Found Footage Friday, Halloween Part 1.
You got to be in costume for this month.
Yeah, I wore a Halloween-y shirt. I wore a trick-or-treat shirt.
There you go.
And my earrings say Halloween. Oh, I can't tell that.
This is actually a Goonies shirt.
Oh, I love it.
For some reason, when I was a kid, they always promoted this movie around October for some reason. It's not a Halloween movie, but
It's a fall movie though, right? Because they're all in like little jackets and.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a
fall-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are mostly sticking with a theme for this month as we move through our episodes, and starting with the movie we are talking about today, which is Hell House LLC. Most people know of this one. This is a pretty common, like, popular-y kind of one, right?
Yep.
It's on Tubi right now if you want to watch it. I think all of them are on Tubi, actually. I think 1, 2, and 3 are on Tubi.
I think this one's also on Prime.
Oh, okay. So this one's also on Prime. Oh, yeah. You can watch it on Prime with no ads. So definitely do that instead. So this came out in 2015. It's within that sweet spot of an hour and 23 minutes.
Perfect.
Let's see. A 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 84% on Google. That's pretty high for a found footage movie.
Yes.
5 years after 15 people were killed during a haunted house tour, a documentary crew visits the scene to investigate what really happened. That's pretty vague. I like it.
Yep. Very vague.
Yeah. This is a really popular one. I didn't see this one for the first time until March. Was that? I don't remember. I think it was back then.
Maybe. I saw this for the first time just about a year ago in October. It was on a list of. It wasn't even a found footage list per se. It was a list of movies to watch, horror movies to watch this time of year, because this is, even if you're not into found footage specifically, this is a great Halloween, October sort of movie. I mean, it's super Halloween. It takes place in a haunted house and sort of, takes a hold of that huge interest and going to these somewhat intense live haunted house experiences, haunts.
Right. Yeah.
This and the movie we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Both sort of are
right into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on that concept, but I'm going to wait until our next one to talk about it. So I guess we'll do our rating.
Sure.
I can go first on this one. So I'm obviously going to explain why. But I give Hell House LLC a 6 out of 10.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun movie, but it had some things that really irritated me.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it, because this one, and I think we've said it before, we've done some of our top lists, top 5. For me, this is a top 5 found footage film. So it's going to have a high rating. For me, this is a solid 9.
Wow. Okay.
Out of 10. This has so much of what I personally want.
Yeah.
In a found footage movie.
I think if I didn't know that this one was on your top list, just given our other conversations, I would have guessed this would be really high for you. Just because I know like the things like what what you're looking for in found footage. So that doesn't that wouldn't surprise me, and even if I didn't.
I mean, anything that's set at around Halloween, around that theme, is going to be a high interest for me, like right off the bat.
So I really liked I like haunted houses. I love the concept of haunted houses. I love when you go to really good ones, like there's a really big one here called Netherworld. It's in Atlanta. It's massive. And very, 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 very popular. Like one of the things that's so neat about it is all the stuff that kind of surrounds them. So like when you go to these like bigger ones, you know, they have the people outside interacting with you and like getting you kind of like, you know, like amped up about going in. But I like that this one kind of focused on a smaller scale. It's a group of only a few friends, and they do all of this together. And I liked, you know, being able to see some of the like how they set up stuff, and some of the scares I thought were pretty effective. I think the reason I dropped, if you had added, you know, 20 minutes maybe before the movie ends, I would have rated this closer to what you rated it.
Okay, so it's more about the ending then.
The ending to me was so weak that I just had a really hard time like not being mad about it. So because I really love the concept. I thought, you know, everything felt very real to me. I was like, I had anxiety. There were moments where I was like, oh, you know, like all of that was really, really, really well done. But the ending just, man, it just really made me have to knock some points down.
Yeah. So for me, the first thing I should say is that this is, I mean, as far as like the scare level, this movie is, I think, very scary.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is a movie like afterwards, I don't want to be sitting around by myself in the dark. Like this movie gives me the creeps. So yeah, this movie is just, it's super scary. There's moments where like I really get the chills. Like I remember being a kid and going to nothing like this, but like a haunted house, and you know, the actors jumping out and grabbing me, and it's probably put on by like high school students or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
It was definitely not this intense, but like, I mean, part of what I love about found footage is this idea that, you know, you can trick yourself into thinking it might be real. And I think that's what a lot of people find similarly with these like live haunt experiences, is that they know that they're actors, but there's always that sort of like, yeah, but what if these people were real? In this instance, it's not that the actors necessarily had any ill intent. It's that there was a supernatural element.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Which it worked really well.
Yeah.
The whole story, the backstory of this Abaddon hotel,
right,
really drew me in. One of the creepiest elements in this movie is so simple, and it's this device they use, basically the piano. I can't even think of the melody it is, but that Dune. Oh, I hear it. Dune, 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 dune. It's just, they play that over and over again in the movie, and if you see some of the subsequent Hell House movies, it's very effective and very creepy. So I really like that.
Yeah.
Aspect. There's this mockumentary side to it. It's also like a found footage. Like it also has like the footage that they find. So it really does a really good job of intertwining, you know, this mockumentary that is investigating found footage. So I really like that. It's got creepy clowns. Like that's one of the creepiest aspects to it. There's a lot of really great subtle stuff like in the background. Like there's this one guy who keeps like talking to the camera, and there's stuff that sort of very subtly you're seeing behind him.
Some of those were the best scenes in as far as like because sometimes they would do it and there wouldn't be anything, so you'd like you wouldn't know, like, is there going to be something there, is there not going to be something there. Those scenes were really well done.
Those were really well done. The scene where, are we spoiling things now? I guess
we can. Let's just
say already
spoilers.
Oh man, I just jumped right into it, didn't I?
That's okay. It's a big movie. I mean, you love this one, so it's
but okay. You know, I like the characters are believable. A group of, I don't know, it's 4 guys and a woman. They work really well. Yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of, it's scary. And I think one problem I find with a lot of found footage is it's not scary. They're not scary enough. A lot of them I really love and I love watching them, but I'm not scared by them. And this
Sure.
movie is, for me,
That's fair.
scary.
Yeah. No, I'm inclined to agree. I think, you know, the first like 2/3 of the movie are really, really strong and really, really good. The only thing I didn't really think was necessary, of course, I guess it plays more into like the story later on in the other movies, but well, I don't know about 3, but I know it does in 2. Is that you know, like the whole like money issue thing. Like I wasn't
Yep.
really sure what that was supposed to add. I mean, I guess like because there was weird stuff. I guess that was like our motivator, maybe like, oh, we have to stick it out here because like I
I see.
guess that was like our motivator.
I actually agree with you. I wasn't 100% sure. There was something with the main guy, right? And
Yeah,
they hinted that there was some issue, but did they come right out and say it was money?
yeah, that there was no money, and so then
That's what it was.
in
Okay.
the additional spoiler alert, and then in the second one, it shows him meeting the guy that owned
Yes.
the hotel and making
Yes.
this deal basically because
Yep.
he didn't have any money. That like this had to be like this was like I guess like a all or nothing. Like we have to
Yep.
do this or we're like screwed. I don't know, but it just I think if that was the point, it wasn't super clear. So I didn't really understand that part. That part lulled for me, and then I was like, all right, let's get back to you know, like
Yep. No.
the
Yep.
craziness of this house. But I tell you, the setting for this could not have been any better. Like I think it's
No.
perfect.
It
Um,
is. It's one of those, I wonder, like, I wanna know, is that a real building? Like, is that I bet it is,
I
like, an
bet it
old
is.
hotel that people who are into this sort of thing can probably go and see. Um,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of great, different people's cameras that they find, like, there's people
Mhm.
who are actually, sort of at the big scene at the end where they're going through the haunt and all the terrible things happen. You actually have the perspective of people who are just attending this
Mhm. Yep.
haunt, and that felt like really real. Like that felt like, and
Yeah.
that's what it made it scary. Like just like they didn't know what was happening, you didn't know what was happening. It was sort of this claustrophobic people running all over
Just
the place,
chaos.
like what it would probably be like in real life if such a thing happened at one of these places. So
Yeah.
I really did like that. Um,
Yeah.
what part about the end did you struggle with?
So I think I think part of it is because the entire movie is built up around this insane ending. Because the
Yep.
first like footage that we really see is the chaotic footage that doesn't show us anything except
Yep.
people screaming and running. And so you get like you're like, "Oh, this is going to be like crazy. Something really crazy happens." Um and then it's like for me it's like they get down there and I'm getting like I'm so amped to see what happens, like where is this all going, what is our end goal here. And then to me I think that cult stuff is harder to sell for me because I feel like people use cults as an easy out to be scary instead of thinking through things like outside of the box. Like I think this would have been
Mhm.
better if they had gone in a completely different direction than cults. Like and don't get me wrong, like I'm not a filmmaker. I don't know like if I had I'd have to like seriously think about what it could even be to be different, but I
Yeah.
hate cult usage when it just doesn't like to me it felt like I wasn't all of that discomfort, all of that tension, everything that I had just spent the last hour 10 building up was gone the moment I realized it was cult related. I was like,
Well, and
oh,
so that I actually interpreted that a little bit differently, so that's
oh,
interesting.
well, how did,
So
okay.
I didn't necessarily interpret that as a cult at the end. I don't know. I thought those were like supposed to be like supernatural beings there in the
Yeah, well,
basement.
they are, but it's all rooted in cult.
I
It's like,
see.
it's
Okay, I
all,
see.
yeah, sorry. So it's like, yeah, because that like thing comes up and then the hooded
Yeah,
black, whatever. I don't know, like I was so wound up and into the story, and then when that happened I just felt my shoulders just like kind of like relax,
I
like I
see.
just
Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me. And one of the reasons that I wasn't like a super big fan of the second one is because of all the focus on that part. Because like I
Oh
think
yeah, the second. If you don't like that, you're not gonna like the second one. That's true.
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, because and then I think someone, I maybe it was you that told me. I haven't seen the third one yet. I'm gonna watch it just because I'm a
Yep.
completionist. But like I think like maybe it was maybe you that told me that like in the third one it's the same way. Like it's very
no,
like
what I've heard about. So I've seen them all, and I kind of agree with this. There are people who love the first one. There's people who love the second one, and there's people who love the third one. Like I think sometimes there's people who maybe didn't love the second or love the first, but they actually like the third. Like I've heard that. Yeah,
oh
and then vice
okay.
versa. I
I'll
think
have to check it out
I
and
didn't like the
see.
third as much, personally.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
and I think it's like I definitely really love the first part. Like I just
yeah,
like it's really well done. And I agree to your point. Like plenty of movies that are found footage that I love did not scare me. Monster
yeah,
Project is one of my favorite ones, but it wasn't actually scary to
not
me. It was
scary.
just
Yeah,
good, you know.
yeah.
But I agree with you. This was very like scary. Like this, there's that one scene in particular where I forget the guy's name, the curly haired guy. He's like it's got
Yeah,
well, I think it's not kind of curly hair. Anyway, he's like
yeah.
laying in his bed and his like camera is like, you know, in front of him like this. And you see that black silhouette behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of that was just like really, really well done. Because again,
Mhm.
there's these moments where you see behind him and you're like waiting, 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 and nothing happens. And then there's these other times where you're like, okay, and then it catches you off guard. And
Mhm.
all of the sequences with the clown,
Oh,
super well done. All
that
of those were
stuff
so well done.
where he walks over and the thing's like standing there and it shouldn't be standing there, and then in the
Yes.
basement and all the heads turn on all the clowns, like all that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, there's something just about clowns also that I personally, I don't have like a fear of clowns, but
Mhm.
like it does work for me. They are scary. It's
No,
something
I agree.
them, and
Yeah.
that just really works. And I think this, you're right. The setting is perfect.
Yeah.
It's really good. Now, what did you think about like the very very ending with the main actress, where she's being interviewed, and then
Yeah, and it's revealed that she's not like technically the survivor we think she is.
correct, yep,
So I actually really liked that part.
okay,
That kind of brought me back in
yeah,
because I kind of like this weird I don't know what you call it, like where like buildings or locations are like soul feeders, like this like
yeah,
weird thing where it's like you know, this requires these things. And I don't know, like there's just something about these types of things that we find comfort in, like
yep,
a hotel that you might go spend a vacation weekend at, or a home that you live in, or like when you're taking a place of comfort, like just as simple as four walls, you know, and you
yep.
make it this almost living, breathing thing. I love stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Like love stuff like that. Side like small tangent. There is this video game, and totally blanking on the name, but it's like pixelated. It's not super great graphic wise, but
okay,
it's something to do with a house. And what you do is your character moves around the house. It's just like a story game, so there's no fighting or anything. But you just move around the house and you listen to these tapes. And as you listen to these tapes, you're hearing this like diary of yourself in this house. And essentially it leads into these moments where you're realizing that the different rooms represents different parts of the body of the house. And it's
whoa,
like this cheesy pixelated, it made me so uncomfortable. Like stuff
yeah,
like that is so compelling. So I loved that. I thought that was like that. So her having, I say all that to say, her bringing people and like that being the whole thing. I loved that concept. I thought it was really good.
yeah.
And one of my favorite kills is the camera kill
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, you need that in found
in
footage.
found footage.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
I love
love
when
it.
that's used. I'm like, yes. I know that sounds terrible, but it's true. It's just so effective because you're just like, oh God.
But yeah, this movie, it's just it'll put you right in the right mood for this time of year. If you're really wanting to still watch some found footage in the midst of your, you know, John Carpenter's Halloween and Nightmare on Elm
There's
Street and
more
Friday the 13th. Like
trick or treat, like
so,
the real, yeah.
yeah, like I mean this and I just saw some others for the first time. All Hallows Eve and
With Terrifier.
And then I saw Terrifier after that, which lots of thoughts. But we're not talking about that tonight. But like, if you want something that sort of fits in with all of that and is still found footage, for me, Hell House is one of those. I love it. I'll probably watch it, every October. Definitely going to be in that lineup for me.
Yeah. So. It's definitely one I would rewatch. Like, it's definitely not one of those where I was like, I was so let down that I would like never watch it again. I didn't feel that way. The second one I probably won't ever watch again, but the first one I think had a lot of good, and I've only seen it the one time.
Really? Okay.
I just saw it for the first time in March, I think.
That's right. So you wouldn't have. Yeah.
So it's I really haven't had a lot of time to rewatch it. Maybe I'll probably rewatch it though. I haven't seen All Hallows Eve, The Terrifier. I haven't seen any of those yet. So those are on my list.
I thought you. It sounded like you had when I just mentioned that.
No, I was gonna say, like, I know that's like a big deal for a lot of people, and I'm ashamed to say that like I haven't seen them.
I will say, a little bit more like body horror.
Yes, I've heard that.
Than actually a lot in some aspects more than I typically would go for, but.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll rewatch a lot, but it was entertaining still. Scary. Yeah. But Hell House, big fan right here.
It's a good one.
I highly recommend it for all our found footage fans out there and fans of the Halloween season.
Yeah. And I think one thing that like I always make a point to say is things that like don't work for me. And I always say that because the things that don't work for me are not going to be the same for everybody. And some people are like really, really love cult themes and like it's kind of like me and witches, like, like when we were talking about Crone Wood, and it's like the witch factor just like
does
for me, and this just happened to have one of those things. Like if it had been witches instead of like a cult, it'd be like a 10, But it's just personal taste, and that's why I always make a point to say like these specific things don't work for me, because I do think this is a great film, and I know so many people that love this one.
And I picture people like watching this, and the scene that I'm thinking of is with this guy, and again I'm blanking on the character's name, where he's in bed and he sees like a woman sitting on the floor off in the corner, and he pulls a blanket over his head, and then every time he peeks, she's a little bit closer.
So
like that scene.
I know I'm getting so uncomfortable even thinking about
I know it's a bad scene. Like watch it with the lights off, and make someone watch it with you who's like a jumper or a screamer. Like you'll get that desire to so
that was one that I definitely almost like.
Yeah, you'll close your eyes, you'll cringe, you'll pull the blanket up in front of your own face, like because we've all been there, right? Like especially when you're younger, even when you're probably an adult, like you hear something and that natural reaction to pull the blanket over your head as if that actually would do anything. Like
that's so true. And the pacing on that moment specifically is beautiful. It's so well done. Yeah, definitely watch Hell House LLC if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, go rewatch it.
Down.
That's right.
Love it.
That's all I have for that one.
All right. Hell House LLC, guys. Go get it.
Next week, we're talking
about the houses October built, which is another on the theme of this extreme haunt, actually more extreme haunt thing.
Yeah. So make sure you come back for that one.
That's right. All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this fabulous Found Footage Friday. Tom and I will be back next week talking the houses October built. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.